make an assumption that everybody knows what high blood pressure is. So what is high blood pressure? A high blood pressure is the systolic pressure, that's the top number in your arteries, that the number that it reads when your heart contracts at the time of a heartbeat, that's the top number. And the bottom number is when your arteries are relaxing. So you will always have a top number and a bottom number. How prevalent is this high blood pressure? High blood pressure is so prevalent that I can guarantee you half of the people sitting here have high blood pressure. It affects a lot of people, and it's most common when people are getting older. As we get older, our arteries wear and tear, and blood pressure is, it's prevalent as you're getting over age 40. But we still also have high blood pressure in children, believe it or not. And usually high blood pressure does not cause any symptoms. You do not even know you have high blood pressure. So coming to a community event like this, you get checked, you realize, my blood pressure is high. So it's important for people to when you hear a heart health event or a health event somewhere, it's a good idea to go and participate in these community events, because you never know. So who is at risk? Again, who is at risk of having high blood pressure? The older you get, or the heavier you get, a lot of weight is not good for you. If you have a family history of high blood pressure, if a lot of people in your family have high blood pressure, grandma had high blood pressure, grandpa had high blood pressure, auntie, uncle, there might be some genetic disposition to that. So it's good to get screened even before the recommended age of 40. You do some preventative care, exercise, watching your diet. You do preventative care for a while before you gotta get on any medications. But we've had so many problems with high blood pressure related diseases that the new guidelines are not waiting for blood pressure of 140/90, they want it lower. So at 130/80, if you're seeing your primary care doctor, they might be watching you closely to see if they can put you on some medication.
With a lot of these things, especially hypertension, you can feel good until you don't. You can be extremely hypertensive and walk around. So we see a lot of people come into the ER with blood pressures of 200s over 100s, and they'll come in with a headache. The majority of the time, fortunately, it's just a headache, and there's nothing else associated with it. Sometimes people do have hemorrhages or bleeds in the brain because of the blood pressure, or strokes, or heart attacks, or heart failures. And at this point, you have end organ issues, right? It's affected an organ at that point in time. So basically what I'm saying is, like, a lot of people will either avoid going to a physician or not take their medication because they feel well. So if you come into me and you look terrible, terribly sick, especially if you're over the age of, like, it's young, maybe even 35, 40. If you're over that age and you look terrible, the first thing, of course, we're gonna ask about your symptoms. The next thing we'll ask you is, do you have any medical problems, right? You'll say no. At that point, a lot of people say no, and then you say, do you take any medications? If you take up medication for something, that is a medical issue that you have, even if it's controlled. If at that point they say no, the next question we like to ask is, have you ever taken medication? Because people like to stop taking medication when they feel good, right? So that's the next question, they'll say no. The last question I ever ask people, especially when they look really, really sick, when's the last time you went to a doctor?
When you talk about balanced diet, so for our body's function, we need carbohydrates, which give us energy for everyday work. You talk about the proteins, which give us the growth and repair of our tissues. And you get our food from things like beans and tofu and lean meat, e.g. chicken and fish. Then we talk about the fats. Healthy fats are necessary for the brain health and energy, choosing our food. So I am from Africa, so I'm not gonna eat burger, but I make my own food. So, but when you make your own food, you gotta make sure your food is balanced. You have vegetables, you have carbohydrates, you have proteins, and everything I talk about. But when you eat your food, when you put your food in a plate, make sure half of the plate is fruits and vegetables. And then you have a quarter of it has to be protein. It has to be good protein also. It has to come like beans, like fish, and you have to limit red meat, because red meat is high in cholesterol. But sometimes you see people overeating ugali. You see the whole plate of ugali right here, and you have a little soup here. That is not correct. So you have to eat a balanced diet. So what we eat is very, very important. What we put in our mouth is very, very important. You gotta choose who cook for you.
Life insurance with living benefits, it is a complementary product that comes with life insurance. So we all know the general life insurance you can buy, a term policy, permanent policy, and most people just wait to die so that your beneficiaries will reap the benefits. However, there is the right life insurance policy with living benefits, where we've talked about critical illnesses, we talked about heart attack, talked about diabetes, we talked about stroke. So if you are diagnosed with one of those conditions, a living benefits policy, you're able to accelerate part of the benefit riders that can be utilized while you're still alive. How do you use them? They provide financial support in the case of an illness, such as chronic, critical, or terminal. And a chronic illness, we can get deeper, but we won't, so they mentioned it. This thing called the heart attack, the stroke, diabetes, and terminal illness is cancer. When you're unable to do 2 of the 6 daily activities. So if you're unable to feed, bathe, and move around, and you're diagnosed as a serious injury or serious illness, that is what is called a chronic illness.
A city that thrives is a city that focuses on the health of the people. So I think it's so important that this health fair is going on. We cannot thrive, we cannot be our best self if we are unhealthy. And our health is our wealth. When I saw that, that definitely underscores the importance of focusing on our health. Our physical health, our mental health, and our spiritual health makes us who we are. So when we have leaders in a faith-based organization that step up and say, we want to make sure that we educate our congregation on the importance of health, especially focusing on the multilingual, multicultural, coming to this country. The foods are not necessarily what we're accustomed to eating. And we have to, of course, assimilate, acculturate into the culture, but at the same time, we need to focus on our health.
She has appreciated Dr. Christina. So we are in partnership with the Uloma House presentation now.
Because we have lots of fun outside. Well, hello everyone, welcome. My name is Dr. Christina Anaganye. I'm the founder and executive director of Uloma. I just want to say thank you all for joining, and I hope you guys learned something today and really take initiative on your health, because it's very important. So yeah, that's all I have to say. If you have any questions, just come and talk to me. I'm outside walking around and everything. Thank you.
So the most important thing I can tell you guys, if you're going through something in school, 1, I like journaling. You write it down. Anybody know why you would write it down? Any ideas? You can also write it down to go back and reread it and see if it makes sense to you. You can go back and wait again, the 3 C's. Catch it. Chair yoga is what you do on the ground, but you're doing it in the chair. For instance, if you're sitting in the chair, feet on the ground, put your arms out, this is yoga. Stretch as far as you can. Stretch it. This is chair yoga. Over the head, count to 10, bring it back down. This is chair yoga. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Stop. Now breathe. This is stretch. As far as you can go. Stretch. Stretch. Keep stretching until you can go no further. Now shake. Shake. Let it go. Kids love that because it releases the whole body.